First on the agenda, I have Debbie Atherton. She didn't want to come, but she asked if I could call her, so I'm going to try calling her at her house and put it on speaker, and hopefully we can all hear her. Maybe. Hey Debbie, it's Andy. How are you?
Good. How are you, Andy?
Good. I got you on speakerphone. Everybody can hear you, so.
Okay. Well, everybody can hear me anyway. I just want to take the time right now to thank you guys for the $40,000 that you gave us. The library wouldn't have been able to function if you didn't get that, so we do appreciate that to no end. They said before they closed the library completely, they had workers going in individually on different days to do cleaning, work on grants, and taking care of some of the issues that they had at the library and stuff. They've also have been working on a couple of grants that would be helping us in terms of getting money like for books and for programs and stuff. They're not sure about the summer program, if that's going to go on or not. They're still talking about that in terms of what's happening too. We've had a strategic plan that we need to make up for the library. Ours is very old right now, and they did a survey, and of course, it's a small one. It's only like 20 people. But just a couple of things to let you know. The ages of people, the majority of people around between 25 and 28% are between 19 and 65. So that's the medium range in terms. They do have some younger ones and some older ones, but those are the medium ranges. The majority of people that use the library don't have children, which I found very surprising, but was very good too. And the majority of people that use the library are usually weekday afternoons, which is basically we're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays they haven't been open lately, but they're usually there Saturday mornings too. And an interesting thing too is how they use the library. 90% of people that use the library borrow books from it. And the other people that use it also borrow things like CDs, magazines. And about 30% of them use computers when they go in. So there's, a majority of people that don't use computers and stuff. And the other thing too, there are other things that, like they rent out, or not, they don't rent out. They have people that use the room upstairs for meetings and stuff. So there's just many of these in the library, but I just wanted you to know those. And again, thanks for the things that library has given us.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you calling, and does anybody have anything for Debbie?
No.
Not a thing.
Thank you very much for hearing me out.
Okay, thanks Debbie. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There. Riley, phone back. Okay, next we got the ATV Club. I don't know if someone wants to sit up or I'll just.
Good here. You guys are good. Everybody
Yeah.
here. So we wanted to come tonight for a couple of different reasons. Number one is the last meeting minutes. Says the select board agreed funding needs to be provided for the town highways and the police budget. If we go back in time a little bit about what we agreed on, we agreed that we were going to do some donations in and around town. We never set a $4,000 amount. It was never written anywhere or said that we were going to donate $4,000. I went back in time where it said Scott Bush requested access roads to main corridors and said Bassett offers funding for trail maintenance. He also said the local club is willing to do annual fundraisers with proceeds going to the town for trail maintenance or projects. Okay, so it was never stated that we were gonna just hand out $4,000. I know there was some talk about some fundraisers, Calcutta's, whatever, we did a golf tournament last year. We had our heart set on doing a Calcutta this past winter, and with everything that went on, that kind of got shut down. So, we're not really sure where that is coming from. As far as the highway department, I can't imagine that we're costing the highway department any money to have our ordinance in place. And the other thing is the police budget. I'm positive that your police budget that you pay, or that we pay as a town, wasn't increased because the ordinance is in place. VASA does offer police budgeting. We have $45,000 in our account right now for law enforcement. They were donating 2 side-by-sides last year. They are going to be doing they were doing patrol, and they had a setup. Does anybody know where it was?
Enosburg Mountain.
Enosburg Mountain. So,
Bakersfield, yes, sir.
so they are setting up checkpoints. So it's Franklin County Sheriff's. They can't cover the entire county in a day, right? So what we've been asked is if we have situations and problems that are piling up, to notify them, and they will. They'll send some patrol officers out to handle some patrols. So, I mean, that's really what we got. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about while we're here. We're open to listen.
Well, I thought that the initial agreement was that we were gonna do a Calcutta dinner at the crossing, and the proceeds from that were gonna be donated to the town, which we agreed that we couldn't say we'd sell 100 tickets, we might sell 75, we might sell 80, but we figured it was gonna be around about $4,000. So for us, I think one of the tough things is, Scott, we want to see the side-by-sides, but we've opened up every single road in Richford to where only just a couple of those roads are actually part of your VASA trail system. So if we're having a complaint on a road or a street or somewhere where we've created this ordinance where we said, okay, this, 40 roads are open, VASA is not going to come here and give us assistance on policing, because we've opened it up to everybody. So there's people on this street and that dirt road and here and there, which is it's really nothing to do with your club.
Right?
Your club is only, maybe what, 5 roads, 6 roads is really, that's all part of your actual VASA trail system.
Exactly.
So all those other roads that are being used, how can we generate some type of money where if you said, well, I don't think the side-by-sides are really going to make that much of an impact. 110 side-by-sides went down the McAllister Road on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a lot of traffic. If that happens every weekend, weekend after weekend after weekend, you know as well as I do, you may not spin or floor your machine or create ruts or anything, but there's a portion of people that are. So how can we create some type of revenue where if Scott needs to go fix that road and John Libby doesn't have a side-by-side, how can we take money out of the general highway fund that his tax dollars went to go fix something that...
So if you're asking me for the question is where do I think that you can come up with money for that? I would start with, instead of picking up Christmas trees and leaves, there was a $125 an hour payloader, both payloaders, a dump truck, and 4 men picking up leaves. That must come out of the general public highway department fund. That's what I'm assuming. Nobody comes to my house to fix my stuff up.
Yeah, but the reason...
So there's trade-offs. There's trade-offs with this business.
But there's reasons why we're still doing that.
But what is it? What's the benefit for me? You guys are looking for a benefit. What's the benefit to Scott Boyce and Randy Fire that don't live in town?
The benefit is, there is no benefit, but there's a contract that's signed until September of 2021 that the town is obligated to pick up the garbage on the streets. And with curbside pickup for the garbage, you have to offer that with it. the board has already made a decision 4 months ago that as of September 1st, 2021, we're not any longer carrying a garbage contract in Richford, therefore we're not obligated to pick up the debris. So that's something that we have changed, but there's a contract.
There's some funds, so that should generate extra funds. I mean, I'm just shooting in the dark. If you're asking me where to come up with revenue, when if you're saying that it's not our club trails, it's not Bassett Trails, you know what I'm saying? Then why should we be the ones supporting the, I mean, what, so you're asking for money for the highway department. Scott, how much money have we spent to repair ATV damage?
Nothing so far this year, I would say.
So for me, we're asking for something that we have no entitled, we don't know nothing. We don't know nothing about it. We don't know what it's gonna look like at the end of summer. We don't know what it's gonna look like in 2 weeks.
I think we get a fair amount of damage up the dirt roads just on four-wheel drive pickups and kids that are ripping around. I think we see more of that than that.
I'm probably,
500-pound ATV.
there's probably 500 cars a day that go down my road. So, yeah, I'm sure there was 110 ATVs up there. I'm not gonna dispute that. We don't know. We don't know, right? I don't know what the council looks like. I don't go up there. I don't know.
Well, what I do know is I personally myself received probably 20 phone calls for complaints on side-by-sides. I work for the town of Richford.
So
So I'm,
20 complaints isn't that bad if you got 110 on one road in a day.
but what do I tell those 20 people?
It's the new ordinance. It's the new ordinance. It's simple.
But-
They got voted in.
But how do I, if that person's doing something wrong and they're, whatever that call may have been, a lot of the people that have called me said, I want to be anonymous, I don't want anyone to know my name, I don't want anyone to know my complaint, but I'm giving you my complaint. So on a lot of those calls, it was something that I more than likely needed to pick up the phone and call the sheriff to say, can you police this for me? But again, how is that fair to take that money that the taxpayers in Richford are paying for that policing and take them away from doing something that has nothing to do with the ordinance and then make that sheriff go work for?
Do you think that you wouldn't get that complaint if we didn't have this ordinance, Andy? Do you think if the roads were closed, you wouldn't get that complaint? You probably go from 20 to 100 calls.
I know last year I never got one complaint, but now that the ordinance has been open, people know, hey, the town just made this legal. I'm gonna call the town and tell them that this person's doing this on this street and that on that street and that on that street.
Yep.
Before, they used to directly call the sheriff's department.
And the thing is, Scott,
But we haven't gotten any calls from complaints. How come you guys haven't called us for complaints?
I called Mark and told Mark that I had some complaints, but a lot of these complaints, Scott, it wouldn't do me any good to call you, because in my mind, I know that, well, that's not even a Bassett Trail. I know what roads are your guys' trail system.
Oh, you're talking about complaints on a road that aren't a Bassett Trail. Is
Correct.
it streets? Is it just streets?
No, dirt roads, streets.
Well, is it just McAllister Road?
No, I haven't got no complaints from McAllister Road.
110, no complaint?
No, that wasn't a complaint. That was just, we had about 110.
Well, specify which dirt roads they are. Then we can do something about it.
I got my opinion. These people that are making these problems are gonna do it with or without a plow.
I agree.
You're not gonna stop them.
Right, I agree to that too, because I have an issue at my house, so.
Most of us I've seen going down Main Street, at least being respectful to the speed and using the hand signals. What are they gonna do if the order saying open? They're gonna fly it because they're worried about getting caught. I mean, these things are here to stay, I guess, is what I'm saying, and I think we gotta have some kind of.
Control.
Well, so back to the real question is the funding, and so as a club, 3 weeks ago, we were 100% committed to start doing donations. Being in the infant stages of a club, we've been officially, to be a year in August, I think. Well, the roads went open in a year in September, right? I think it was the blessing, whatever the date was on the altar, coincidentally was the first day. So, and then with this pandemic going on, we just struggled through the winter to get any kind of fundraisers together. We got our golf tournament in just in time. Luckily, that created enough funding for us to at least get going.
Well,
With
before
our
that,
clubs.
that was the crossing poles.
And we
Yeah,
probably
well,
want
I mean, yeah, but so some of our big generators, we were counting on that Calcutta, just like you said, Andy. We talked about the Calcutta, and so that stuff didn't happen.
Well, I think everyone understands that, and I think the board has already said that we understand this year's a different year. But in the future, moving forward, if we're gonna renew the ordinance for another year, we just discussed it and felt that there needs to be some type of money, not donated to the beautification or donated here or donated there, donated to where if somebody calls up and has a complaint and says, and Scott says, yeah, I will go fix your road, I can re-chloride your road or whatever, and that person, we don't have to say, we're taking that money out of general fund, we can say, well, the ATV Club paid for that. It's fine, we'll go do it because they generated the money to fix that road. Or if I need to call the sheriff and say, hey, there's an issue on this road, can you go take care of it? You gotta remember, you guys are only 150 people that have side-by-sides. There's another 1,900 people that could care less if there's a side-by-side ordinance or not. So we need to cater to both sides.
We
so
totally understand.
So that both people are happy.
We 100% understand that, Andy, 100%. We understand that the people that could care less. We are.
But it doesn't seem like that, because it seems like everyone is arguing the fact that we just need to generate, I mean, if.
No, I'll let Andy, let me just be clear. The only argument that we have is that you stated funds need to be provided for the town's highway and police budget to support the ATV ordinance. It's your words. It's right here.
It is, but-
You guys posted it.
But it doesn't.
We haven't done any highway damage at this point. None, zero. Road commissioner, how much have we done?
You can go pick it apart if you want, but nothing.
Well, I mean, come on.
I had complaints that somebody
No,
else
not
was
complaints, not
going around in
complaints.
circles.
We're not talking about complaints, we're talking about
Well,
damage.
I haven't gone and checked, but I'm sure if I go check, they probably have been doing donuts on the
But
McCullough
it's,
Road. 'Cause
but
they
it's,
do, I know.
but it's May 15th though. We got June, July, August, September. You're gonna have, when you have 110 side-by-sides in one day go down a dirt road, if that happens every weekend for 20 weekends, you can't tell me that there's not, we all know that there's gonna be a little bit of.
So how many times out of the year do you grade the McAllister Road, Scott? What's the average, 3?
Well, I'd say 4 or 5.
4 or 5? You're gonna do that 4 or 5 times this year, correct?
Probably.
So May, June, July, August, September.
We usually don't
So we
grade.
got
any-
5 months for getting graded, right?
We usually don't grade any in the summer if we can get away from it. We try to hit them hard this time of year if the weather's right, get them hammered down, get them chlorided, and leave them alone for a couple of months.
If somebody goes up through that road, not long after you graded it with a pickup and spins it all up through, you're not gonna send Matt right back up there and grade that again and take that out.
We have in the past.
But what if somebody calls Mark and they call me and they complain about their road, what do I tell them? The Queen Will's ATV Club said it wasn't a big deal, that we'll just grade it next month when it's time
I'm
to
not
grade it.
saying it's not a big deal.
No, but I can't, we have to be able to tell everybody something so everybody's happy. That's my biggest thing. I get the calls of everyone complaining. I'm the first one that wants, I've worked with you guys from day one, I think it's a great thing, but you have to make those people happy who don't want you on the roads with them. Because there's a lot of people who do not think that we should have legalized it. We've heard a lot of flack from it, but I want to be able to make them happy and make you guys happy.
I still say it's the same idiots.
It is, Reed. It absolutely is, but they're doing it.
Whether there's a club paying you money or not a club, you still gotta go fix that road.
Well, what if we look at it like this, Randy? We're not saying Queen Will's ATV Club has to give us $4,000. We're saying the ATVs that are using our roads have to generate enough money. It might not be $4,000. I might only have to call the sheriff 5 times throughout the year, and he might only go for 3 hours, so that's $80 an hour. That's $1,200 that I have to spend on police.
Police would be calling them whether we have a club or not.
Danny,
Where does the money come from then?
I don't think you would, because these guys are going up and down Main Street way more freely now because they think it's legal. They're out way more than they would have been. People don't go up and down Main Street in the middle of the day on a
Or
four-wheeler.
if they gotta be doing something wrong to have a complaint.
Well,
It's the same people, I keep getting back to that.
it is the same people. And unfortunately, those same people ruin it for all the good people,
Well,
but
that's why we're gonna try to self-police that. You know, when we crossed this street right here, coming over here tonight, there was a guy going down the street about 40 miles an hour. We did this to him.
With just an orange triangle on, he's not registered.
well, last summer, how many complaints did we get about the same person going up and down Main Street in the wheelie? I ended up having to go to that guy's house and knock on his door and say, hey, listen, you're gonna ruin this for everybody. Can you stop? I mean, I did that personally myself. I didn't want to, but I did.
Once again, not a member of the club either.
Exactly. And that's why it goes back to, Mark, you guys are only using 5 of our roads. So is the best thing to do to, right, like Dan Hale said from the beginning, don't open up every road in the town. That doesn't work. Only open up 4 roads or 3 roads. So do we go back? Do we backtrack? But then that's not fair for all you guys who live on roads that aren't part of Bassett Trails, because then you gotta start trucking your side-by-side to get it to the legal
I don't
place.
think that's gonna solve any issue, because the people that are going against everything they were already doing it. Those same people are complaining, they're not part of the club, they're not part of anything. And all they're gonna do is go faster down Main Street to get around the corner to hide on the cops, versus following a speed limit, thinking they're getting away with something.
If you shut the side roads off where a few of us can't come down, there's only gonna be a select few that are gonna trailer them down here. The rest of them are gonna do it anyway.
They're gonna do it
I don't think
anyway.
that's gonna solve the problem.
No, it's gonna give the cops a lot of work. And we all said that from the beginning. It's like, how do you
You're
can't do
gonna just punish the ones that are trying to do the right thing. That's all we wanna do is do the right thing. We want everyone registered, insured, and.
But not every vehicle like Richford is legal either.
Exactly.
Not even half the people in town don't have legal vehicles, but they drive by the car every day.
As you put in the minutes last meeting, I called 911, so did my daughter, so did the people down the road on a four-wheeler that's not legal. The people are not part of the club. They're still today they're going down the hill. Do you think the sheriff did anything? They did a ride-by 3 hours later. After the guy broke his four-wheeler and it was sitting outside, never stopped, never talked to anybody. So, what did that cost? And they're not even part of the club. They're, the same people have been doing it forever.
So I'm not sure, I guess, what you guys are looking for from our club. You know, we're gonna do donations at some point. And the other thing was, we kind of, when I read this, it kind of made me feel like you guys had created like a deadline, like, why haven't we got a donation yet? In this case, you guys wrote, funding needs to be provided. That's not a donation in my mind. That's, you know, you guys would have to take liability if we had to pay to have these streets open, obviously. But, you know, so we're in May, the 5th month of the year. We got a ways to go. We'd like to try to raise some more money. And we are planning on some level of donation, but, I mean, numbers like $4,000 for something that, there's a lot of ifs in the conversation. If the road gets tore up, if there's 110 side-by-sides, if there's this, if there's that. I mean, I don't know what to say other than, you know, we're gonna do donations at some point. I would have thought it would have been better measured that to let this ride for a year so that we could look back at the history. Like in September, we look at Scott and say, Scott, what did you find? What did the police report say? How much more did it cost to have the police this ordinance? Which is not costing the town of Richford any more money to have them sheriffs here because we have this ordinance now.
It's not, but you're taking away for if
But what are we taking away? We're not, Andy, if somebody's doing something illegal in this town and that sheriff is paid to be here to stop them, whether it's in a vehicle or on an ATV illegal, they got paid to do that.
Yeah, but the money was generated for the police to police the town without that ordinance. So if that ordinance wasn't there, you're creating you're creating work for that sheriff that he wouldn't have.
How do we pay the sheriff? How do we pay, what's the contract read? They gotta put in a certain amount of hours?
Yeah.
So, if he's sitting down at the ambulance station on his cell phone or pull over a side-by-side, is it his pay the same? I'm confused. I think we're looking into this way too deep. I mean, if we have to specially call.
Well, I'll just tell, every time someone calls and they complain to me, I'm gonna tell them, either, call the ATV Club directly, I don't wanna deal with the complaint. And what's that gonna make me look like?
I'm not sure that it's got anything to do with how somebody looks, Andy.
Well,
In fact, we have a town ordinance in Richford, they have to get accustomed to it, it was voted in. The ATVs were voted in to ride in town.
And everyone has to be legal.
And that was if they don't want, nobody's here. Is anybody in here against it? There's nobody here.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, there's one vote.
Because at midnight, 1 o'clock, they're tearing up and down this main street with no lights on, 2 wheels. That happens often this summer.
The ordinance closes at 10 o'clock.
Well, they're still out in the street.
Yeah, but are they legal? Those guys aren't legal, they're already gonna be doing it anyway. They're already on my road.
We can't stop them from doing that.
But it's worse than it used to be.
My road
I
is
gotta
out.
agree that it's the illegal ones that are causing the problems.
Yeah.
The guys that are legal are doing fine. It's these hellions that are out screwing around, and you're gonna have them whether there's a club or not.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was on trails yesterday where it says, stay on the trail or stay home. There can be other things. Stay the speed limit or stay home. Just
Right.
keep the signs, we'll put more signs up.
Right.
We can fund that.
And if we find out whoever's coming up Main Street at 1 o'clock, we'll give them a visit. Let them know that they're ruining it for us.
Sorry,
I got
that's
one
not work for
question.
me.
When Danny Hale was here and he was, you know, we were all discussing starting the club and everything, he said there was funding from him, from the state, to towns for chloride and grading. How is this, how's this money passed out, or how's this?
That would definitely have to be answered by Danny. It's not something I could answer, but Danny would definitely have to answer.
And I think they would mandate that we could only spend that money on your guys' trail roads.
Yeah,
And he will provide a certain level of policing too.
yeah.
But Mark, well, I don't think, because I know they won't, because I already asked Roger, they will only allow them to police on your guys' trails. And all the complaints that we're getting, they're not on your Vasa trail system roads. I know what they all are, well, other than Main Street, but a lot of the roads are roads that they're not even part of your trail system. So that's why it's like, how do we nip that in the butt without, you know, I don't know.
I don't think the sheriffs or the state police really care what happens in town when the sheriff or the state police is sitting here today and there's a mini bike riding up through the street with a kid on it with them, going back and forth, driving by the cop, and they do absolutely nothing.
Not a
They're
thing.
not looking to see whether that sticker is red, yellow, or green.
Well, there's a mini bike with a big fat tire on the back. I know it's not legal for the
Where
road.
did
It's
the
not
blessing
street
of the
legal.
invites come from anyways?
It's not street legal. Why not pick them up?
Truckload them off in town or what?
I don't. When they ride back and forth by the state police, they do absolutely
We see 2, 3 of the
nothing.
little mini bikes going around, but.
There's that, that's
The
all.
sheriff department, let them know the difference between an ATV and.
Exactly. This all boils back down to the sheriff's.
Well, if somebody
department.
asks you, aren't you gonna say something, and it's like, well, 2-wheel vehicles aren't even part of any club.
Right.
But, you know, so I guess I don't have a whole lot left to say other than that, you know, we are prepared to make some donations at some point. We don't know how much. I just was a little offended that this statement kind of made us feel like the town was demanding money. And if that's the case, that we didn't mean to mislead anybody, but that isn't what we meant when we said donations. We didn't, you know.
But didn't we initially talk about doing 2 stickers? One would be if you wanted to live in Richford, and let's just say if I had a side by side and I don't want to go on the Vasa trails and I don't want to drive, if I don't want to go to Bakersfield, Nemusburg, I don't want to join that. I only want to be able to live on the Corliss Road. I want to be able to drive down into town, go back, whatever. Well, right now, somebody can do that and not have to pay any money, correct?
No, they have to have their Vasa sticker in their registration.
That's right. And
You
insurance.
gotta have a Vermont registration, you have to have your Vasa sticker.
And insurance, it's in the ordinance.
And sure.
That's already 60
So it's just like a vehicle.
It's all the same stuff as the vehicle.
Exactly.
Like your Vasa sticker would be like your inspection sticker per se, I don't know. I don't.
Correct, but that $65, you guys get 15 of it,
$60, we get 20.
you get 20.
40 goes to
and-
Vassar.
And 40 goes to Vassar.
Mhm.
Now, how come with like, with snowmobiles, it's like $120 something to join, but with Vassar, it's only half of that?
It costs a lot to groom the trails. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
true.
assuming they're
That's a
expensive.
weekly,
Yeah, I don't know why Vass would be twice as much, Andy, I don't.
Well, snowcap's $150,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, $8,000.
that's
Yeah,
what pays each club to.
So if there's a Richford resident that wanted to basically not be part of your club, because they're not gonna go to Enosburg or Berkshire or wherever on the Vassar trails, why couldn't they buy a sticker from the town of Richford that gives them access to use the Richford roads?
that would be on you guys, you sure could. You could provide a sticker for some, I get what you're saying,
But they're not.
like,
What's that?
It wouldn't be legal to ride, it's still got to be on Vassar.
And they wouldn't
Right
if they didn't wanna leave Richford.
No, that's absolutely fine, you could have a permit for the town of Richford, Troy's got one. Troy has one, they don't charge for it though.
You get
You have to bring your registration, proof of insurance for your vehicle, they give you a sticker, put on your bike, and zero money,
and your driver's license.
and your driver's license.
Yeah, but don't you think that, so all these ones that are illegal, that we know are illegal, and the ones that are breaking the rules, wouldn't that thin them out really quick?
Mhm. Well, once again, who's gonna police it?
Right,
Well,
that's the
we-
problem, policing.
We would. At that point, we could pay the sheriff to basically stand behind the ordinance that we wrote.
Mhm.
Right now, if I pay the sheriff to stand behind that ordinance, I'm taking the money from taxpayers, some that are all about side-by-sides, but some that are not all about side-by-sides. And when you get a complaint that says, or are you using my tax money to police that? What do I say to them? Do I lie to them? I don't want to be portrayed as a liar. So I'm not going to tell somebody, no, I'm not. I have to tell them
All
the
they're
truth.
doing is patrolling the road, our main roads though, just like they should be anyway for vehicles.
Right.
They're not patrolling the trail roads, because that's where the VASA comes in, then they go to different places and set up points to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but Sherry, we're not getting any revenue from those people who are riding on those roads that we have to pay the sheriff to go police that road.
What if someone from like Berkshire wants to come eat at the crossing? Are they gonna need that sticker, or someone from Bakersfield?
Not if they're part of your club, because you've designed your trail system where they can get on your road system, and if they got a VASA sticker, they're good on your trail, right? But when they leave the crossing, they couldn't drive up the golf course road and go visit somebody who lives up there, because that's not part of your trail system.
Don't we kind of want to bring business to Richford and make it better instead of try to keep them out?
Well, I think that was the whole entire point of the thing, and I think that's what your guys' trail systems do, correct? I mean, your trail system leads people into Richford, into the main hubs of town to where the business is, and then out of town.
It was all double connected between Berkshire, Montgomery, Enosburg.
Right. Which does help out the gas stations, and it does help out the restaurants and snack bars and stuff.
One gas station reported 50% of their gas sales Saturday. 50%. Obviously, gas sales are low in town right now because of the customs, but it probably wouldn't be that high if the Canadians were still pumping, but that's a pretty big number.
My store was slammed over the weekend, so, with that
And
kind of
the
stuff.
sheriff-
I think we can all admit that it's a benefit in the long run, and
Right, for
there
your
is going to be
town.
hardships for some people, and we understand that, we really do, and we can't change that, I mean.
There's gonna be
I'm sorry,
things you're gonna have to work, yeah.
Right.
But where I come from with it, Scott, is I'm now one who has to talk with all those people that have hardship.
I think you're onto something, Andy. I don't think there's anything wrong with you having a sticker, a permit sticker for anybody that doesn't want to be in the basketball. That's fine, you can generate, you can charge $100 for it if you want. That would be, I mean, it's gonna be up to you to police it, you know, with your cops and who's gonna be the next tax complainer to complain that, well, now we're spending money on that. I mean, there's always a complaint somewhere, so. Unfortunately, we're all different,
So
so.
if they go up one of our roads and they're not a part of VASA and they only buy your purple sticker from town, they're still illegal, because that's
Yep,
VASA.
exactly.
Correct?
Right.
So if they hit Main Street, they're illegal if they don't join all of it.
Correct.
Yep.
And is that the right thing to do, Mark? I don't know. Maybe,
I don't know.
maybe not, but.
No other town in the state of Vermont does it, that's all I know, I don't know, maybe it works.
But I will tell you this, Mark, that I've had a couple phone calls with Roger about this in the last couple weeks, trying to figure out how, what are other towns doing? It's not just us sitting at home saying that we just want to create hardship for everybody.
Right.
Kylie is a town clerk, she sent emails out to other towns, like what are other towns doing? How is this working here? How is it working there? And the way Roger explained to me, he talks to Dan Hale, or right, is it Dan Hale? Monthly or whatever, and there's a lot of towns in the last 2 or 3 weeks that are starting to have a lot of complaints. Of course, the weather's turning nice, people are starting to ride side by sides. It's a time of year, I think, when everybody's gonna complain, and it's definitely no different here, because we've gotten a ton of complaints. So, and maybe it'll blow over. Maybe you give it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it kind of calms down and you don't hear anything from anybody about it, but.
You're gonna have outlaws no matter what, and you got it with vehicles, not just side by side, which is a way more
I
dangerous.
think New Hampshire went through the same growing pains when they first opened up all the trails. And they got people coming from every state.
Yep.
I mean, that place is just flooded, and they had their share of complaints and stuff too,
But
this part, I think it's really good for the town.
But, like, Rick, if you kind of start breaking the towns down, like, probably 50% of Richford is a lot of retired people, right? So they watch their dollars a little bit closer than other people might watch their dollars. So one thing they watch is their tax bill, and how we make the budget, and what we spend the money on, and how that's all being broken down. And the first chance that they get to call and complain and say, well, are you using my tax money to pay for that? And that's kind of where the catch is right there. It's like, how can we tell that person?
It's a simple answer at this point. No, we are not.
We're not.
If that's the honest answer, no lying, no, we're not. We're not using yours.
Today. But what if it was?
But once again, we're throwing what ifs. Let's see the proof in the pudding. Let's hear from Scott in September. He's gonna grade a road, it's pretty much once a month. So he said 5 times a year he grades these roads. I can't imagine that it's not gonna be kept up with and have to do extra grading.
Well,
Maybe
on the road part of it, but as far as the policing part of it, I've kind of already just kind of let probably 4 or 5 things just kind of go, because where I probably should have picked up the phone and called the sheriff and said, well, okay, can you tend to this? Can you go talk to these people? But I didn't, because I'm like, well, I don't really feel comfortable telling the sheriff to go do something about an ordinance that we created.
I don't think they can police it, because they really don't know where the trail system is and what places are open and what places aren't open.
Well, that's
for one
why it
thing.
just stays
No,
open.
Roger knows.
I bet he don't know. He don't know what places are open and what are private land.
Well, I can
and
tell you, I
what
don't
isn't.
think Highland Avenue's
There's
open.
probably 50 machines a day on a weekend,
I got
come down
people
through my
from over
place
the hill
and right
right
down through
constantly.
right to Stevens Mill. That's not a trail.
That's not a legal
That's my
trail.
private land. Everybody uses it.
Right, it's not a legal trail.
Absolutely.
There was probably 30 machines that came down from the reservoir road. That's not a town road. Everybody's using that.
That's right.
It's still pretty iffy, I think.
Where's the hot spots as far as complaints? Can we just get the sheriff down there and spend the day like they did in Bakersfield and Enosburg Mountain?
I haven't got any complaints.
Mostly in town.
Danny
In
Hill's
town?
on tonight.
Let's get the signs up,
Yeah.
and let's get some fines out there.
Mostly in town. Little bit out of town, but I would say out of 20 calls, 15 of them were all from in town, and some of them were repeat people.
Well, I got them going wheelies right down Home Street.
Yeah.
Hey, it's probably the same one comes up Highland Ave.
I'll guarantee you, those machines are not registered or stores.
No, they're not.
You're having trouble.
So how is that supposed to be handled? Like, what is the protocol for that? So we got illegal bikes running up and down these streets, four-wheelers, and now because we have a club, all the eyes are on us.
How would I handle it?
Yeah.
Well, so what I would do is, I would get with Roger, and we've already talked about this, on probably a Saturday would be the best day to do it. Have 3 or 4 sheriffs come into Richford and set up checkpoints in 4 or 5 different areas. And if the machine comes through there and they don't have your sticker, the town sticker, whatever that sticker may be, they give them the option right then and there. You can buy the sticker right now, and you can join the club or pay the town, get your sticker, or we're gonna write you a $250 fine. You can do whichever one you want. And he says, if we do that for 2 weekends, that's all it's gonna take.
Yep.
But that costs money, Scott, to do that. And if I told the non-ATV users in Richford, if I told John Libby right now I was using his tax dollars
He'd
to
probably
do
be
that.
happy, because it'd be getting rid of the
Yeah.
problem.
Right, if you make
You
it
should be happy.
$250.
Money well spent.
Get them in here, run them down.
Roger said that if we did that for a couple weekends, you would be able to sort out all the ones that are the problems. And even if they had to impound the ATV, well, then the ATV's gone and half of these people can't afford to get their ATV out of their town.
Do it, that's what we're looking for.
So,
Can I add to that? Danny Hill will provide for those few weekends, the policing it takes to do that.
on your guys' roads.
Anywhere you want.
No, only on, he told us in that meeting that they would provide it on the Bassett.
Right, okay,
Right.
set up a checkpoint, but that could be Troy Street, it could be
Could be Main Street.
Providence Street, River Street, wherever you want.
Yeah,
Well, once they come off them side streets, then you can get them.
yeah.
Sooner or later, they're.
My question is how do we, so there isn't any protocol for those people when it's happening?
No,
No.
Like, sure, you got guys right
Yeah,
now,
call
so
it
what
4 hours
happens?
later.
They call me.
He calls and says, I'm complaining about the pole, are you gonna do something about it? But there's no cops coming.
no cops coming.
Okay, so we're not spending any money on them
Well,
guys.
3 hours later, they'll do a drive-by.
If there's a fine, does the Richford get any of that money?
Only if it's a town ordinance that they're breaking.
And this is a town ordinance.
So this is all town ordinance, right?
Yeah.
Because if the street's not open.
Not driving an illegal machine on the road isn't really a town ordinance. You know, it's an illegal vehicle on the road.
Right.
Right,
Like say you get pulled over for speeding on Main Street or whatever, like I think a very small portion of that money at the end of the year comes back, but it's not a lot of money, but it is money that does come back.
so I think if you wanna set dates, we can get Danny involved with setting up,
I
with
think
Roger.
them checkpoints is.
No, we just want to have them cleaned out as well.
No, we don't want them.
No, we don't want them. Any more than you do.
No more than John does.
We just wanna do the right thing.
Probably the members of the club that are across.
No, right.
Once the select board opened the streets to everybody, you're letting everybody do it. That's
We're not letting everybody do it. If the cops would do their job,
Exactly.
the hole in the
How
system,
that work here.
the hole in the system here is the enforcement. The cops aren't doing their job, plain and simple.
Because the
You don't have to
ordinance-
be a rocket scientist to figure it out.
Right, the ordinance doesn't say that it's open to everybody. The ordinance says you gotta have a massive sticker, you gotta be a club, and you gotta have insurance and
Right,
registration.
so if you don't follow through with that ordinance, you are breaking ordinance. So the cops should be following through and pushing it because it's part of the ordinance of the town.
Around the top of
Well, they're all there.
the, on board.
That's right. That's where the lapse is.
Well, I appreciate you guys' time. Anything else? What's that?
Gladly.
Yeah,
Scott, are you good, do you want some signage up in here, close that trail down, or, I mean, you mentioned it, I didn't take it as a complaint.
I just thought you guys are gonna be more aggressive going out, getting permission from farmers and landowners and that sort of thing and developing trails, cause I don't even really know where the trails are, what trails
Well,
exist.
so we are, but that's,
Scott, we're waiting for the state connectors with this pandemic going on.
Mhm. Well, I know.
From your house up through and 105A,
right,
before we ask Casey and whoever to be able to go down through there, or Cleveland, we need to make sure we get the roadways first before we.
Danny won't let us break that ends.
Mhm.
So if we
actually-
get to 105, now it's illegal, you gotta turn around and come back.
Mhm.
A few would use your trail, and always have in the past, but it's not a Bassett trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know everybody's used it, I've never really said anything about it, just
So,
early in the spring when it's muddy and stuff, I really don't like them wailing around.
that's right. So that, if we did make that a Bassett trail down through there, it would be closed from a certain date in the fall to a certain date in the spring,
Right.
whenever.
Which Vassar lists those closed dates, not Club.
Right.
Yeah.
May 15th, the Bassett Trail's just open.
Well, that's a good thing, we can do a lot of damage in the spring, just causes erosion. Right. You end up losing a trail or something just because somebody's out screwing around, putting rocks in it,
Water goes down the
dumping the water bars and stuff.
It's a handful of people that make it hard for,
Oh, I know.
it's the same with snowmobiles.
Yep.
Same thing.
It's the same thing with vehicles. You know, you can grade a road out, most people are good, but then you got some idiot with a pickup that thinks he's gotta do power turns or spin it all up, you get the same thing.
The biggest thing,
Live on Home Street.
the biggest
The
thing,
road graded on Hardwood Hill, and then I see it get ripped up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good spot up there.
Yeah,
I think them truck points are a good way to start.
I go up there and pick up a rider.
I see the biggest thing with, like,
I see the fresh
snowmobiles
marks
is-
every day.
there might be people that don't like snowmobiles or do like snowmobiles, but they don't see them because they're not using the roads. They're in the woods, they're on a trail, there's no roads that are open to snowmobiles, so you don't get the complaints with the snowmobiles, because, I mean, you might hear them from your porch in the woods on the trail or something, but you don't see them, and that's where you get the complaints, is that,
We heard about a complaint of someone going down the rail trail and somebody had to get off the damn rail trail just so they could go by, and we immediately posted on Facebook that that's illegal, whoever gets caught doing it's gonna get a ticket. As a club, we did that.
Right.
yeah,
You better go drop a notice down at the border patrol station, man.
yeah,
Right.
They run it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what makes them any different than anybody else.
No kidding, I didn't know that.
That's true.
Yeah, and all of the Circulator Valley Rail Trail entrances off the highways all have a no ATV sign on them.
And I know there's some.
The kids from the trailer park were driving right past by Dave McAllister's, I watched him drive right by the no ATV sign. Like, you'd almost have to gate it to keep them out of it, you
A
know?
lot of folks are interested in getting the rail trail open to ATVs, but I think it's a bad idea. That's made for people to walk. You know, enjoy, without having to get words out, getting run over, beside the road,
Right.
walking. I think that should be left alone just the way it is.
Right.
That's why we need the other roads to get from point A to point B.
And we don't want to ride just the road, but we need the roads to connect to future trails that we're
Right.
gonna have. If we lose the roads, then you lose the connecting. Great.
As we prepare for our donations, is it, what are the committees that we would be getting noticed? Like you guys talked about, is it a donation to the highway department? Is it donation to, what is it?
I think the
Town
town,
of Richford?
I think the town in general, and like we said, if we, way back from the beginning, if we don't use the money, the town will donate it back to your club. That was what we all said right from the beginning, that we don't wanna take the club's money, but we just wanna have that money where we can say, okay, we have to fix that, we have the money to do it. We're not gonna take it from the taxpayers, and at the end of the year, if that money doesn't get used, as long as the club uses it on something for Richford, we donate it, give it back to the club. That was what we
And I
initially
still
had.
think you're getting way more damage with a full drive pickup than you are gonna be with a side by side. No special trip is gonna be made up there to grade that spin mark again after Scott just graded it yesterday.
Well, it's all wear and tear from every vehicle. I'm not gonna run and just grade a road because a bunch of four-wheelers went through, no.
Exactly.
When it gets to a point where it needs grading, well, go grade it. Get enough complaints, and I have to do it. I like to put it off as long as I can, to
Exactly.
let people that live there know what screwed their road up. If they see donuts in the road, they say, well, I guess four-wheeler must have did it. If somebody takes off on an intersection and fishtails up through with a pickup, well, they can see a pickup did it. You get those kind of people no matter what vehicle they're in.
That's right.
Exactly.
Family club, they got, or whatever. They're gonna do it.
The trouble is they're just doing it a little bit more freely because we said, go ahead, the roads are open,
Well,
you know?
there's more traffic.
Yeah, they're just, people are being a little bit more laxative and free, you know, free with it. They just go because they think they can just go. And
Well, that was the idea. We
Mark,
wanted-
how many times, when we talked that night on the phone, you named off in your head 20 people that, you know, and that you know, and I've seen them when I'm hunting, going up and down the Corliss Road,
Right.
spinning side to side, back and forth, and it's like, and I told Mark who it was, and he's like, yeah, they haven't bought they haven't joined our club, so they're not contributing, and this one's not contributing, and that one's not contributing, but they're all using the roads, but they're not contributing.
Well, that was the whole idea of the club, was I think club members are gonna respect the rules. And we're gonna have a lot more club members than we do right now.
But how do we what do we do with those ones who don't wanna join your club and they don't wanna follow the rules? How do we make them become illegal? How do we stop them?
Then checkpoint.
Yeah.
Checkpoints. The sheriffs are the ones that are gonna have to do
Law
that.
enforcement, I mean, none of us have the authority and
No.
the ability.
They gotta pay money, that's gonna make them think.
Yeah,
Like you say,
checkpoint,
we already have law enforcement in this town.
You do a couple checkpoints, and that's gonna make them pay attention, that word will get around real quick.
a checkpoint every corner of the town, then you're bound to catch, pretty much all of them.
Two or
If the
three
guy
people.
complained showed up, it'd be nice.
Just 2 or 3 people get caught and the word will spread. It's just like
That's right.
towing cars for the winter parking ban. You tow a couple cars and the word spreads.
That's right. That's right.
No, I think that's a good idea, Randy. I think it should be done right off.
Yeah,
This weekend, Memorial Day weekend. we
Oh, this would be a good weekend for it, actually.
can't wait too long, otherwise,
Well, and another thing, well, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
no, if you wait too long, then it's gonna be hard to stop them all. Now, if you do it right now, at least, the word will be able to get around, so the others will straighten out.
That's the way to do it.
But we just have to, I mean, one thing you have to strategically think about with that is too, let's not try to hurt a business. So let's not set up a checkpoint in front of a business or, you know, right down the road from a business where you're targeting people leaving that business. I mean, the main goal is to create revenue for businesses and not, you know, so we just need to strategically do it where we're not hurting any business or setting up because of traffic in and out of a business or something of that nature.
If you're set up on Noy Street or Troy Street, there's not really around many businesses and there's plenty of illegals driving those 2 streets.
Right. Where is this, in Noyes?
Noy Street or Troy Street.
Oh, Noyes Street, yeah, and Shore Street, so you got, Joey
Highland
Gilmet's,
Avenue.
Joey Gilmet's parking lot, that's garage, I'm sure Joey wouldn't mind.
Their favorite part is the rail trail, right where my house, they're always out there.
Or actually, they should set it up right at the end of the rec trail, where it
Yeah.
crosses.
They were out, they were
You're
out,
pretty close to Robert's business there too, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, the ones that are,
Legal or
the one are legal, are gonna keep driving through Gold Roberts.
Right.
You know, the guys
I
we're,
go to Roberts.
the guys we're looking for ain't going to Roberts, you know?
there was one stuck between Keith row barges and the wood plant last week, and they're out there with a car and a pickup trying to get it out. Ended up getting them all stuck before they were done.
They're easier to catch that one.
This end of town probably, this end of town's got a fair amount of activity I've been seeing.
Yeah, it's
They
all
don't
right.
have a laundromat down there. They got a-
Oh, yeah, the
they got a
laundromat.
good track one down around there.
Or the Legion parking lot, there's,
Be a perfect spot, Legion parking lot.
right?
So since we talked, Mark, have more people bought memberships or has it been about the same?
It's been record sales for us these last couple of weeks. Every club is actually saying that this year.
Now you
More
want
and more
That's
and
because
more.
people want to get out so
You
bad.
guys in Newport have sold an unbelievable amount.
95% of people want to do the right thing.
Exactly.
They want to join the club, they want to be part of it, they want
Like, nobody
to.
wants to come up through town, you know, and be illegal. They just want to go enjoy themselves.
My feelings are, if you hadn't started the club, we'd still be having these problems.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
would. It's the same
Yeah.
problem I had last summer.
If you guys shut us down, you're still gonna have the problem.
We are.
And we're
They're
gonna
here,
share
they're here to
our
stay, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
might as well deal with it the best we can.
That's right.
I agree.
And then for the rest of us, we'll have a registration and we'll have our license sticker, and if my
Sure.
trailer's broke, I'm gonna sneak up through town, and if I get caught, I'll be at risk, but I'll have, you know, I'm just saying me, but I sold mine, so I don't have one.
I think we'll have to have a few more meetings and work out a few odd issues now and then, and trouble spots, but that's
Yeah.
part of it, right?
Yeah,
Well, I think the only thing that needs to be ironed out or figured out is how do we do the best we can do to make everybody happy? The people who hate side-by-sides, the people who love side-by-sides, the people who don't care. Just, that's the biggest thing, and that's where, I mean, I'm the one I'm that person who has to be that middle,
It's not gonna be for everyone.
That middle of the road.
Bicycle 6 wide down through the town, but I deal with it. I don't like having to drive through, Orville up through either, I deal with that too.
I think we all pay for stuff out of our taxes that we ourselves may not really use or enjoy, but still
That's right.
as part of the system, that's how it works.
yep,
Exactly.
I agree.
That's all work together.
I think the checkpoints is a good place to start though. I think we need to do that right off.
Well, I think we gotta
We're all for
nip
having
the
a
illegal.
checkpoint.
Yep,
Let's get rid of the car first.
That's right.
yeah,
And then see
exactly.
how it goes after that.
So how do we go about getting the checkpoint set up? Is that something you coordinate with, Scott, would you guys coordinate it with?
Yeah, whatever, if you got a weekend, like one Memorial Day weekend's coming up,
Would be
right?
perfect,
Kinda short notice,
But that's not this weekend, is it?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
I
I
don't
don't think
think,
we're gonna happen that quick, but it doesn't matter, I mean, they're here, these guys aren't going anywhere, the ones that we're looking for.
Right.
you'll catch them right there in the middle of the workday, I think.
Well, it's not hard to find them, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I said, just, here, let me in, I'll show you where there's a handful. So, I mean, whatever, just get hold of us and get hold of me, whatever, we can get hold of Danny and we can send up the side-by-sides, sheriffs and cars, whatever they wanna use, that's up to them, you know?
we'd have to do, I think, more than one, you know, a couple checkpoints in a couple different places per day.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
From noon to 8 o'clock at night, or, you know, whatever, pick a time
I
frame.
think like John said, right there at that Legion parking lot and down at the rail trail entrance down there,
Yeah.
in that vicinity, right
I think
there.
it's called there, by the town garage somewhere.
We'll get it right up, half a dozen tickets, and like Scott said, they'll get around. They'll start hiding.
I agree.
Yeah, so somebody has to nip them.
Yeah, they have to be.
Those that do get a ticket, at least they'll probably try to, correct the problem so they don't get another ticket.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna lose my temper, so it's not gonna be pretty.
We gotta try to avoid it.
Sounds good.
Would it be more, would it be, I'm just trying to think of how, so if you did stop somebody and they came through and they didn't have a sticker, personally, myself, I think the best option is to say, hey, you wanna buy a sticker?
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
so would it make sense to have,
They can join
there's
around
five
the
of you right there, if,
Yeah, we could be there.
if one guy was with one sheriff and one guy was with another sheriff,
Mhm.
and then it's your club that's
Yep.
out there saying, hey, listen, you guys need to follow the rules. It's not me and Scott standing at and Jock at them
Right.
checkpoints. It's your guys' club, it's your
I
name.
would be more than honored to stand down there with a bag full of stickers, and if they wanna write the check to our club for $60, I'll put the sticker on their bike for them and send them up the road.
When somebody joins your club, do you have like a sheet of paper or a pamphlet with the rules and regulations or anything
On
like
the
that?
back of their registration form,
Yeah.
it leads them to the, online, ordinance.
And you can also join online too, you can join that.
Yeah, you can join on.
The maps and that has a bunch of regulations, rules and regulations too.
So I think it's one of them things, Scott, where a lot of people go, all right, perfect, now I'm legal, and it goes in their glove box,
Yeah.
and they don't.
Well, that's why I
But there's
just
not many
wondered.
fellas in the world, he knows enough about the laws, he doesn't need to read that whole thing to know
Right.
the, you know, he's coming down into town, going back home, whatever, you know, but there's a lot of guys that aren't gonna look at it.
Right.
But they still need insurance, right? And they still need to be registered.
We don't ask for proof of insurance to sell our
Okay.
stickers, but the ordinance states that they have to have insurance.
Insurance.
So, if they get out of checkpoint and they don't have it, they're gonna get a ticket.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The
So
checkpoint,
besides you guys being able to sell your sticker, they're gonna have, still get a fine because they don't have insurance, they don't have registration.
You have to show your driver's license, proof of insurance to get the sticker. The sticker's free, but it proves that you went through the checkpoint basically,
Right.
town hall. I kinda like that. I mean,
Yep.
Because I think there's a lot of people who may say, well, I don't want to join that club. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's a lot of people that might say, well, I don't want to join that club because I'm never going to leave Richford. I'm not going to go to Montgomery or Bakersfield or whatever. All I do is go from maybe my house down to the store and then back home, and that's all I ever do.
Yeah, but they're on the fastest
Right.
section at some point, so they still gotta join us.
You still have to join the Bassett Trail.
A lot of them, when they go to Cajuns, they've been writing down a lot of tickets, last year especially, because they don't have a sticker. That was last year, probably happened this year.
Oh, yeah, there was 150 there, maybe the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That place lives on side by sides.
And it's not, I think 90% of it is just the journey to get there for most people. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about the food,
It's a
but
destination.
I can get to Roberts before the Cajuns and be happier, and it's right here in town.
Right.
It'll take me 15 minutes to get there, I still got the rest of my Sunday to do nothing, you know? Sometimes it's the ride that everybody wants to enjoy.
Yep.
Right.
I know Dennis's sales have increased over there. Quite a lot. Phoenix sales.
Okay.
It'll come this way. That didn't happen overnight at Cajuns.
No, it
Them
won't.
streets over there have been open for a long time. That's a very well organized program they got over there. Yeah.
Before you guys leave, Mark, did you want to touch base at all about that, what we had talked about that, kiosk?
Yep, we have a kiosk, every club has one, and Robert said that we could place it down there if we wanted to. I don't know if you got any other ideas where to put it, but we thought that would be a good spot down there.
Well, yeah, we did, remember we had talked about that other piece of town land? I haven't brought it up to the board at all, but
I did mention it to, Scott and Corey, I didn't mention it to Randy yet.
That's the one down by the jail.
You can
Yeah.
talk about that if you want. That
Yeah.
piece.
I don't know if it, I mean, if it could be if it could be gravelled and be a good turnaround or spot for people to pull in and unload or whatever, I don't know how big of a lot it is, maybe a half an acre or something, but I mean, it would be enough to at least display your trailhead or whatever,
Trailhead, exactly, yeah.
I don't know, but that's the only spot that I could really think of that night when you were
I
asking
would give
me.
people a place to come in and unload and,
Well, if there was anybody that wanted to do that, or even someone to pull in and just to look at the, your whole maps or whatever you might want to display there, I don't know. But,
we'll have a few businesses displayed in there as well,
yeah,
places they can
I
go.
don't know, maybe it's not a good spot for it, but I just couldn't think of
It'd be
anything.
awful tempting to get on that rail trail right
Yeah, exactly.
It would.
Pull her out, make a wrong turn. Well, it might be a good spot. I would be a little nervous for some people wanting to leave their pickups and stuff behind for the day.
What's up with the lot across from the Pinnacle down there? Who owns that?
I don't know.
Buddy.
Buddy.
That's a nice big open place.
Yeah, that'd be a good.
175,000 for that lot there, that'd be a good spot.
I'm thinking a couple cow cutters and another golf tournament, we'd be owning it.
I don't think the town really owns any other piece of property would be just right on the road type of good spot where you have enough room to.
Gerland doesn't necessarily have to be in town either though, you know? Up in Sheffield, they got it way up underneath the wind turbines, you drive up.
And there
They
could
got
be,
Pond Road, and you would never expect it to be up in there, but. Right up in on the trail system, big.
there could be more than one trailhead also.
Yeah, we were just, so that kiosk, Andy, is mobile. We're cutting it down and we're putting some legs under it to make it mobile, so we thought we'd start out there with it. So, and then, because there was some parking area there, and, then if we decided we want to relocate it, if we find a better spot, we certainly could. And we can get more.
I was just worried about that bike path that's gonna go through there. If that ever does happen, it's not gonna be this summer, but maybe next summer if we're lucky. And that might kinda,
We can pick it right up and pull it right on out of there.
They would have to stay on
Not
Robert's
that bad.
property, maybe.
yeah, but that bike path's gonna go through Robert's property, so there's gonna be a purchase easement through there, so I just don't know how that would work. I didn't wanna see a bunch of effort get put into something and then have it not.
No, it'll be totally movable anyways, but a couple of them would be nice though, a couple of locations.
What about down around Davis Park? Don't you own land down there or down off the edge of that park?
We own the park.
That'd be a really nice place. It's got the Eagle down there and the river and the park. Trash cans are already there. That'd be a nice spot for a trailhead down there. I don't know how much you own outside the park.
I don't think we own a lot on that field part on the right. I don't know, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I know,
Who would be the owner up to that, Kenny or Hershey's?
I think it should be just
Yeah.
access to the island, I think.
Yeah, I think when they bought Davis's, they bought that.
right.
Davis's donated that section for the
To the park,
park
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what they actually donated, how much.
I kind of like that spot's neutral ground, you know, it's not in favor of any business, it's decent neighborhood over there, looks good.
They might be interested in doing something though to allow you to use it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, you know, if it was somebody like Hershey's who said, hey, we just want to put electric gravel on here, you know, you never know.
Well,
Okay.
That's stuff we gotta do.
they all have side by sides over there too, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure they'll be going with it, they don't use it for nothing else. Probably.
Anything else?
I'm good if everyone else
Thanks for hearing us.
Thank
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Approve minutes from 5/4/20 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve. We couldn't get Linda on the phone?
No, she never called in. I got it still open up on here, never popped up. Somebody want to second it?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Water and sewer?
Don't really have a whole lot to talk about, I guess. Just everyday routine things. Nothing too major pops out, I guess. Not that I can think of.
Okay, Sherry, buildings?
Circulator pump at the fire department has now really got a big bad leak in it. It had a smaller one earlier before. John Mercy did send me a quote. I have not looked at it yet. The generator I talked to about and Scott, and he said that they would look at doing it soon. I'm gonna go down and check and see if the doors open up manually, all the doors. And if they do, then we can pull the generator to do it, because that was the main worry, is about opening the doors. The fire department, I believe it's the rear door got backed into with the truck. So, they called and, told Linda, so Linda called me and she said that if I wanted, she would check in and have somebody call and go down and look at it, so. She called the company to go look at it, because I was at work. Besides that, that's about it right now.
Andy stopped here before you had got here, and he had told me about the circulator pump.
Yep.
He also had said something about the rear door that he's gonna call about getting that fixed.
Also, he has not called. Linda said she was gonna call, okay.
No, and he also said that you had told him to call Champlain door, but the doors were installed by Overhead.
Overhead door is the
So
one.
he's probably gonna have to call Overhead if he's
Right,
running just a
I had
panel.
told Linda that Champlain Doors does a lot of the stuff down there, but Joey had told me about Overhead Door, who was much cheaper and did not have to replace all the transmitters for the overhead doors. So we went with Overhead Door the last time, so.
And he said something about across the front of the building, there used to be 2 or 3 lights that got.
Yes, he doesn't like the look of it only being one, even though it's bright, it's still not, he likes it better with more lights, so they're a couple $100, so,
Okay, he just told me to tell you about it.
yeah,
Across the front.
yep.
Okay, anything else for buildings?
Nope, that would be it.
Yacht with the highway?
Scott's got the update on, when the paving outfits are coming in, maybe at the end of the week, he said, so. That's, might make a few town people happy there when the road gets paved. Other than that, then not too much. We ain't got the truck, ready for the chloride yet, so.
No. No, we got two injectors yet, Friday, Thursday.
So that, the roads can, get touched up, better than what they are, a little bit better than what they are now anyways. Well, went up on the Stevens Mill Slide Road there, that could be, touched up even all the way up, not just halfway up.
Well, they either bitch about rough roads or bitch about dots, and most people would rather have the rough roads.
Well, that's what I said, until we get the, that's what I told them, until we get the chloride truck done, I says, you ain't gonna grade the roads too much, so it won't be so dusty.
Have you guys made any ground on, choosing someone to take Scott's position when he's not there?
I haven't discussed it. I haven't with anybody in there.
Well, yeah, like has been mentioned before, Slim is probably the one that's more apt to, be able to figure out what needs to be done when Scott ain't there.
That's who I kind of leave in charge when I do leave. I took Thursday off and, I talked to him and explained what had to be done, so he's my go-to guy.
Is that something that we want to make official, or just happy with leaving it like that?
Well, I think probably something ought to be done officially. If I'm not there should be somebody, a go-to guy to, answer questions or whatever if somebody has a problem.
Okay, does somebody want to make a motion for that and get it in the minutes so that it's taken care of?
I can make the motion to
appoint Slim as a,
right.
you want to call it assistant road foreman when Scott's not present? Something
Yeah.
along those lines?
Yeah.
For the minutes?
That'd probably be the proper words to
Okay.
use,
All those in favor say aye.
right?
Oh yeah, I need someone to second it.
I'll second it.
Obviously Linda's not here. I'll just check in with her, make sure everything, she needs anything done or whatever, but
I just got these, I just printed them off quick, it's just the sheriff's report for this month.
Okay.
Sounds like we got birds in there.
There is, I keep looking back, it sounds like there's a window open, or is there somebody inside?
okay, I don't have anything that I need to discuss and, we do have to go into executive session at the end to discuss a couple things, but, recognized guests, John or Mike, either of you have anything? Good? John?
On zoning issues, it was never made clear if I could, get hold of the attorney for enforcement
On,
Interval Avenue and Union Street. The ones on, Green Avenue have making a little progress up there, I see.
We're just making an attempt.
are we're gonna do that with a new attorney, right?
Yeah, I gave them the information.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I think the only thing that was unclear was we wanted to make sure that the new attorney was ready to start taking on all that stuff, and if he is, I'd say send it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have anything for other business, so I want to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss, the brownfield program. and we won't have any decisions, so we'll be good. Okay?